of the How to Make Money Online Challenge, 30-day challenge. Sorry, 30-day challenge. Yeah, so we're on day 14. Today's topic is online tutoring. And I know what you're thinking. How can you make money tutoring people online? But to be honest, there's actually a pretty big market, and this actually is a legitimate and lucrative side hustle for many people. So we're going to go through everything like we always do with these live streams. We're going to do the overview first, and then we're going to go through and touch on some of the specific topics, and we'll just go from there. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the live chat, and we'll get started. I just got a drink. I got a new drink here, some kind of like strawberry lemonade. I'm not sure what it is, so we'll dive into that, and then we'll get started here. All right, so let's talk about online tutoring. So when you think about tutoring online, it it may seem like a little bit of a daunting experience. Like, how do you actually tutor somebody if you're not actually face to face, or if you're not actually next to somebody? Um, but there's a lot of really excellent online platforms that you can go and you can visit and actually sign up to be a tutor. So some of the main ones are tutor.com, Chegg Tutors is another one, and VIP Kid is another one. So those are some of just the platforms as far as like setting up your tutoring business. Um, so some of the bullet points we're going to cover today in this live is going to be identifying your subject expertise, setting up a profile on some of these tutoring platforms, marketing your services, and setting your rates, most importantly. So I think a lot of this, as far as like getting started and getting everything set up, is really focusing on what you want to start tutoring people in. So what you got to figure out what subject to start, what subject you're going to want to start tutoring people in, and what really comes easy to you. So if you are really good in, say, math, English, science, it doesn't even have to be those particular subjects, but really just kind of focus. It could be art, it could be music, it could be some other skill or talent that you have that you want to get involved in and start teaching people and make it a legitimate side hustle. That's pretty good. I don't know what that is. Strawberry something. I'm not sure. So, Sweetums. Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. How you doing? How you doing out there? Oh my goodness. Getting started, getting ready to talk about some online tutoring here. So, okay. So we kind of covered the definition of online tutoring. So when we think about, we want to think about like the importance of doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you. I forgot that the live and the chat is a little tiny bit delayed. It may be like a couple seconds delayed. So yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Yeah, doing good. It's pretty warm here today. I think our high is like 95, something like that. So um, that may not be as hot as other places, but in the Southwest United States. But yeah, it is pretty warm today. So definitely trying to just stay inside. So absolutely. So we kind of talked about definition of online tutoring. We're going to talk about like the importance of growth in online education in terms of actually being able to tutor somebody. I'm sorry. I got you. Being able to like tutor somebody and teach somebody online in terms of having it be a way to learn, whether it be somebody being a visual learner or and like as far as like an audio learner, like learning over audio, that kind of thing. And how do you kind of marry the two to make it so you're actually able to you're effective as a tutor? Um, so it could be, I know when a lot of people think of online classes, that kind of thing, you think of like pre-recorded stuff, kind of you go through and there's like these on-demand kind of classes that you can choose and you can watch a course, that kind of thing. So that is definitely like one of the options. Another one of the options definitely is if you didn't want to sign up for a separate platform, you could always do like live Zoom calls, and that's another way that you could actually you know, conduct your tutoring business. Zoom, Skype, I know those are two video chats. You could even do something like, I mean, potentially a FaceTime, if you wanted to go down that route, but we'll cover all those kind of different tools as we kind of go along. So, and then an overview of potential earnings. So, talk about that as we kind of go down to. Okay, so when we're talking about like understanding online tutoring, some of the key concepts to consider is subjects and the level. So basically, we talked about what subject are you going to cheat. Hey, Bookie Wookies, thank you so much for joining. How are you doing? Welcome in. You didn't miss much. We were just trying to get in the groove here of the online tutoring. So, um, so subject and level. So when it comes to what you're actually going to be teaching, obviously everybody knows what the subject is far as is it going to be a math or an English or a science or that kind of thing, like your traditional subjects that you learn in school. Um, yes, that's it. I think you're going to be big on this one, Bookie Wookie, because of the because we got some online tutoring. I think you can kind of, you know, you know, do some magic around and see what we can do here. So, and then as far as like, after you choose a subject, then you're gonna want to figure out like what is the level. So, for example, like in high school, for example, you have like math 101, English 101, and you kind of start at a certain baseline level of how difficult the class is, that kind of thing. So you got to determine to line up what are you going to be teaching, as far as is this like a beginner class, or is it intermediate, or is it going to be like an expert level class? So, and the more experience level that you require for these different classes or these different subjects, you can definitely command more money, or ask for more money, because these are more expert level, or they take more experience, and it's a lot more, I think, in depth to explain. So yeah, that's right. So, and then as far as we kind of talked about it before, is it going to be like a one-on-one session? That's always an option too. So it doesn't always have to be, um, doesn't even have to be like over Zoom or, over the internet. So, um, yeah, Bookie Wookie. So what qualifications do you need to become an online tutor? So first off, I think it's probably a good idea, at the very least, to have some sort of credentials in your particular subject. So, if that means like maybe like a degree, perhaps, or some kind of certification, basically just validating or proving that you have these skills. And I know necessarily it doesn't necessarily mean that you need a teaching degree, that kind of thing, but at least have some sort of credentials to start at the very least, in order to be able to prove that I know how to do this stuff and I know how to teach it, that kind of thing. Um, so yeah, no, I think honestly, Book of Wookies asks, can you just have a high school degree or diploma, or do you need more than that? I think really it's kind of situational based, and it really depends on what you're going to be tutoring. So in terms of if it's more like school academic type stuff, then I would think that you don't necessarily have to have a degree, but more of like some sort of kind of paper, I would say like certification, but documentation proving that you have this certain level of education yourself, so you're qualified to teach other people. I think that's less necessarily like a mandatory requirement, and more of like, kind of like a nice to have, building that trust factor and that like factor. And just when you're looking for clients and that kind of thing. Of course, word of mouth is probably the best form of marketing there is. So it's totally free. If you get a recommendation from somebody in your circle, your family or friends, then you know for sure that you can trust that. You can trust it, and hey, I've used this person or this company, and that's probably the best way to get the word out, as far as building your client list. Like, oh, did you hear? My so and so family member, they do tutoring now, so go check them out if you need help with something. So Yeah, so that's kind of, I think, the way around, as far as, doing it maybe like on your own in person or like over Zoom. But these platforms like tutor.com, these guys, I looked at it earlier. Let me see if they might actually have like a full kind of curriculum that you have to do in order to sign up. So let me see here. Partner with, partner with us. Okay, let's see. Higher education. I'm just looking for like, okay, it doesn't say anything on the front page, but I'm sure some of these platforms, they require you to prove to have a certain level of, education under your belt before you can actually start teaching people. Um, I think kind of the catch or the way around that a little bit, I think, is if you're going to um, teach somebody like guitar or like piano or some kind of musical instrument, that very well maybe more like skill kind of based versus actually, credential type thing. I mean, skill and experience level. So I think that's a little bit different than like teaching an academic subject, only because, some of those things don't have like excuse me, an official certification, kind of like a document saying, hey, I'm proficient in this kind of skill or this skill or whatever it is you're going to be teaching. So yeah, no, those are great questions. So thankfully, you don't. Bookie Wookiees asked you have to be based in the states. You don't have to be based in the United States. So you can find, especially through these different platforms like Tutor.com, Check Tutors, VIP Kid. Let me see. I'm gonna type this one in real quick, and then let's see. That because through the platforms they can actually link you up with people just based solely on what they're looking to learn instead of actually, location based. I mean, that's also part of it too, but it's more along the lines of, setting you up with somebody who might be a fit. So, okay, I'm just gonna go to check real quick. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, and that's a great way to kind of start is that um, a lot of the things that we talk about here on this channel and through these lives, they're definitely global. So it doesn't mean that, you only have to teach people in your own country. So you can actually, for example, like, we talked about like Fiverr and Upwork, and those are actually two websites you could actually go to as well to provide services. So in terms of like tutoring, they're not exactly like specifically tutoring, but I'm sure you could put on there your credentials and use that as another form, another platform of tutoring as well. So, okay, I'm just gonna look here and see if we could find this real quick. Let's see. I'm just trying to look to see how much it would cost here. Let's see. Honor Shield. Okay. So it's not showing it right off the bat as far as like in terms of signing up, that kind of thing. But yeah, you definitely don't have to be based in the States. One thing that you could do is you can even set up, there's tools like Calendly, Google, you could use like Google Calendar, different ways to keep a calendar and keep your client list, the communication going between the two. And that way, if you did want to set up like a Zoom meeting, you could have your own website and you could utilize some kind of payment processor like a PayPal, like a Stripe, that kind of thing. So, it's a let me type it in the chat. It's a Calendly. I don't know if I'm spelling it right. So, calendars. Okay, so Calendly. So it's called Calendly. I don't know why they made that. It's kind of that's a difficult way to say it. Difficult thing to say, but it's basically like an online calendar, like an online way to book and keep track of all your meetings. So you know what? Sorry, I should have sent you the actual website. I should have sent you the website here instead of just saying, okay. So let's see. We can actually, I'll show this off here in a moment. So, um, Yeah, this is actually pretty cool. So let's dive into that real quick. So let me bring this down and we'll flip this camera around. And that way we can take a look at this. This is actually one of the premier tools that I know a lot of people that do this use. I've worked with people before that that have okay. I've worked with companies before that use this. So Calendly.com is a site, and basically what it does is you can sign up for free, and it's an automatic scheduling platform. So hopefully you guys can see that. It's an automatic scheduling platform. So what you do basically is you can come down here and you can book. You go to a website. So once you sign up, you get a website for your company, and then you can actually go through and you can click on a date. So they'll give you like a list of dates, and you can click it, and then you can actually book the appointment with the company itself. So say like if we were offering a tutoring company, um, you would go here. I would send you a link, and you could click anywhere on the calendar here, and then you can actually book. It gives you a drop down, and let me see if I could find the. Let's see, find an example here. Okay, so it's like a scheduling link. Hey Kusasi, how you doing? Welcome. Welcome in. We're just talking about Calendly. It's a calendar scheduling software tool that you can use if you're starting an online tutoring business. So you can do team-based scheduling, and basically it integrates with Zoom, so you can actually book, 15 to 30-minute calls for Zoom or for in person. So it makes it super easy. It does all of the logistics, and it does everything for you. So you go through and it even has like a workflow. So in terms of setting reminders and follow-ups, and it can connect if you have a CRM, which is like a kind of like a software that you kind of keep all of your business stuff in the same realm. It also does video conferencing and billing, so which is pretty crazy. So if we go up, we can look at pricing here. So there is a free plan here for individuals that are just starting out. So you can do this is free, unlimited one-on-one meetings, one event type, which basically means like, do you want to do a 15-minute call, a 30-minute video call, that kind of thing. So there's usually a drop down that says you can do either a Zoom call or you can do a in person. So you can choose that, and you can connect one of your calendars, and then it does integrate with video conferencing, which is pretty cool. Um, and you can customize your booking page, basically make it however you like, and then you can embed the scheduling on your site. So basically, what that means is if you have a blog or a website or even like an email, you can embed the link for the calendar, and it'll actually take you directly to the calendar page. So the next level up is the standard. So basically, the biggest part about standard versus free, and that's only like it looks like $10 a month, is you can have unlimited event types. So you can do if you wanted to say, okay, I want a 30-minute in person plus a 15-minute Zoom as a drop down, you can select either one of those. You can connect multiple calendars, and HubSpot and MailChimp, there's integration for both of those. This is the biggest one right here, Stripe and PayPal integration. So this software right here, it'll integrate with PayPal and Stripe, which are both payment processors. And that's with the standard plan. So that would probably be the one that I would go with because you can take payment right here through Calendly. So you don't need to actually have a separate payment processor. So for example, if you were doing like a, maybe, for example, I mean, you could do like a Shopify store. And yeah, sorry, Kusasi. I didn't see the chat because there's like a white background and the text is white. Um, yep. So Bookie Wookies. Yep. So there's a free version and here's a standard version, which is $10 a month. So, okay, Kusasi says you have to sign up with this. And so, King, yes, thank you so much. Welcome back. It's great to have you. Thank you. So Kusasi said, so you sign up with this and tell your clients to book appointments with you from this link. Yep, that's correct. So you'll get like a unique, kind of like it's not an affiliate link, but you get like a unique link where you can have your clients book through this. So basically what this does, the beauty of this tool is that it allows you don't have to keep track of all your calendars. It integrates with whatever calendar that you have. Let's say you have a Gmail or you have a business domain with business email. So it will integrate with that too. So you don't have to keep an additional separate calendar. So yeah, I love this warm welcome, King. You're just in time. We're just talking about this tool, this Calendly tool for online for booking appointments for online tutoring. So welcome everybody. Welcome for coming in. We're in the middle of this 30-day live challenge. How to make money online for 30 days. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So we're just looking at one of the tools that you can use to maximize your productivity and really like streamline your calendar process. It just makes it so easy, so you don't have to think twice about it. So this is one of those things that you know really will help. So so Sweetums asked, do you recommend having a website to be an online tutor? I think a website in a sense of like a personal brand, and something that somebody can go to and it, shows your picture, it shows what your credentials are, tells a little bit about yourself. Um, I don't think I do recommend it, Sweetums. I don't think it has to be anything super crazy as far as like really in depth and have multiple pages. I think it could probably be just one page, like a landing page, or one main front page, and then you could have a couple buttons to like, list out the calendar, that kind of thing. Um, so I think it's one of those things where um, it's just whatever can make your life easier and help you promote your brand, your personal brand. So if you're an online tutor, then obviously you're going to be the face, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it face to face, but I think that's probably the best as far as being able to connect with your clients, doing it face to face. So here's just some ways that Calendly can integrate. So over here, it looks like Zoom, Teams, Salesforce. It can integrate with Zoom, PayPal, and Zapier. So those are just some of the tools that it can integrate with. And then if we scroll down, um, they just have a bunch of different tools, and you can type in something. And so this is cool because it integrates with obviously Zoom and it tells you what it does. So it adds your Zoom link to a Calendly event automatically, which is actually really cool. I mean, that prevents you from missing, did I send the link to my client? I have a new student. Did I send the link to them? Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think Squarespace is on here. Let me see. Let's search. Yeah. So you can embed your booking page on your Squarespace website, which is really cool. So if you have one of these hosting platforms, you can actually embed this Calendly tool. Sorry, didn't mean thing, tool. So yeah, it's really cool. I mean, especially if you're a teacher online, and to be honest, like, some of these different other sites, let me flip this around for a sec. Some of these other sites that we were talking about, like tutor.com, even like, um, Skillshare, Udemy, that kind of thing. That's definitely one way of tutoring, but and teaching and being an educator. But I think if you want to do this live and not have pre-recorded videos, then I think this might be the best route to go, is to do it on your own. And especially if you can integrate with Square and I mean Stripe and PayPal. Yeah, Bookie Wookie. So say all we have is high school degree and how we pick a subject. So I would say the best way to pick a subject is probably to see what you're good at, what the best, you know, what do you feel like you excelled in, or what do you feel you're qualified to teach as far as that goes. Because you got to remember, like, if you start this teaching and um, people come to you and they're like, well, I don't think I'm learning what I should be learning, then not only is that going to hurt you as far as like, getting paid, but also it's going to hurt your reputation. So you really need to make sure that whatever you say that you're proficient in and that you're able to teach somebody, then that's really true, because you want to make sure that you hold on to your clients. So Yeah, definitely. So I would say that would be one, definitely like teaching English as far as like the subject that's most in demand. So let me grab over here. I got a list over here. So okay. All right, so I have a list here of, it looks like the top. Let's see, I'm just gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so it looks like the top 10. Um, and definitely like teaching foreign languages is definitely one of them. So I think this is in no particular order. So um, let's see, I'm gonna turn this up. So I'm gonna flip this over. That way it's a little bit clearer for you guys to see. Let me change this tripod real quick. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that was a great question. So foreign languages definitely is on this list. So this kind of categorizes them just basically in the subject and not necessarily like, where you're actually teaching. But so foreign languages, so learning languages such as English, Spanish, French, German, Chinese, and Japanese. Those are all like the top, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the top 5 languages for both academic and personal development. So if you were thinking about teaching foreign language, those are the top 5 languages, besides English, that are definitely as far as getting the most, that have the most demand. So number one, and this is not in any particular order, but so number one is going to be math, and I think that's pretty obvious. I think math. So it basically breaks it down to like basic arithmetic, algebra, geometry, calculus, and some of the other as you get a little higher up in the math stats. Yeah, so I think what you can do is you can actually, since you're going to be the tutor themselves, you can kind of cap like, okay, well, I'm only going to teach algebra or geometry. These are the only two that I'm qualified to teach. So I would say you set that cap, or you set that the standard, the criteria with whatever you're going to teach. So you don't have to say that you're going to teach all the way up to calculus or statistics, that kind of thing. You can really just say, okay, these are the subjects that I focus on as far as math. They're like the kind of like the sub levels of math. So same thing goes for like science, with like physics, chemistry, biology, that kind of thing. Even like a general science, those are always in demand for, not only high school, but college students preparing for exams. So, and then we have English and literature, English language. So that kind of goes hand in hand with like foreign language, but that would be like ESOL, English as a second language. So, how you guys doing out there? Do you guys have any questions so far? These are great questions coming in. So Swidham's asked, do you need a, sorry, the font's really small. Do you need a college degree in those academic subjects to teach them online? So basically, while a college degree can definitely enhance the credibility, and it may be required for like certain subjects or platforms, it's definitely not always necessary in terms of teaching online. So it's really going to be platform based. So depending on where you go and you sign up to actually be an online tutor, there could be some sort of credentials that they require as far as needing a degree for certain subjects. But if you do it on your own, then all you'd really have to do is just prove your level of expertise. So that's one way of getting around, having a degree in these certain subjects. Whereas if you had, you created your lesson plans and you had everything basically panned out and organized, structured. So yeah, so that's a good question. So we're gonna go and let me just see. I had the list of the tutoring platforms, and I don't know if this is complete because it only gave me two, but I had more than that on there. So I'm just gonna type this real quick. Okay. Okay, so yeah, Kusasi asks, are there websites where you sign up so you can be a tutor, and do they tell you what qualifications you need? So yeah, that's a good question. We're gonna start with tutor.com. So kind of the highest level of tutoring. That's gonna be like the premier website just because of the name and the brand. So okay, so it looks like you need to create an account in order to sign up. Tutor remotely, no travel necessary, get paid on a regular schedule. Okay, let's actually pick another one. Let's pick another platform because that one you have to actually create an account in order to kind of see a little bit more. So, okay, so here's a couple, and I'll make sure to paste these um, in the chat here. So these are the different ones. So as far as like best overall, it looks like it's Chegg Study, CHEGG Study. Best budget platform is Learn to Be. Um, Best variety, Princeton Review. Best for language learning is Preply. Best homework is Schooly. I kind of like the name of that one. So let me post these here. So tutoring platforms. Okay. So really, it's going to depend on what your specialty is, as far as like what's the subject, what is the actual, what are you going to actually be teaching, as far as I think which platform that you sign up for. So you can start with, so this one says Chegg Study. So this one says best overall. So we're going to go to this one. I'm gonna flip the screen around here, and hey Daxic, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Hey, today we're talking about online tutoring and how you can become an online tutor. So we're just now about ready to, okay. So this one actually asks for a free account too. Okay. So this one is, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this around and we'll go through this. So a lot of these actually require you to have an account to even log in, whether you're gonna be a teacher or you're gonna be a student. So let me just flip this around real quick. Okay, so this one is the first one. So Chegg Study. So it's CHEGG. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that a little bit. That's pretty clear. So here's some of the features that they have. Okay, so they basically break it down into like textbook explanations. So it looks like this would be from the format of the student. It looks like textbook explanations, expert Q&As. Let's see. So understanding a topic, course help. These are all the different courses that you could sign up actually to get help on. So let's see. Okay, so it says for educators. Okay, that's interesting. So they have this tool here called Honor Shield that allows educators to actually provide online exams, but have some sort of, it looks like answer blocking tool, so you can't cheat online, which is actually pretty cool. I mean, that allows you to actually, a teacher or a tutor to actually provide the test and make sure that nobody's going to be cheating on it. So, okay, so here are some of the features when you become a tutor. So, like I was mentioning, unfortunately, you have to sign up for an account. But here are just some of the different features. So, taking control, the answer blocking tool allows you to control the exam. So you basically, as a tutor, you'd upload the exam and you'd set like the time, like how long is the time going to be on the exam, and then they take care of the rest as far as like the formatting goes. So, and one of the benefits of this is you can ensure academic integrity. So the honor shield basically used so make sure that students they don't have access to the answers during the exam time. So that way there's no cheating and you can make sure that the student is actually learning. So let's see. Honor shield. Let's see here. So it looks like there's a bunch of different resources here on the website in order to actually when you sign up to be a tutor. So that's this looks like it's more for like actually creating like uploading the exam and having the exam be taken online versus actually like tutoring. So let's go back over here. Let me flip this back around. Okay. Okay, so here's the other one that I wanted to show you guys, which is called VIP Kid. So you can basically teach what you want, which is pretty cool. You can set, so this is like you would sign up on vipkid.com/teach. Teach what you want. You could set your own schedule, work on your own time. There's no minimum hour requirements and no lesson planning, which is actually pretty cool. So they provide the lesson plan and they have all the curriculum you need. So all you do is you provide what your qualifications are, and then if they were to accept you as far as like becoming a tutor, it's basically like an all-in-one platform. um, and then of course they offer competitive pay, so top-notch teachers are what set us apart, so we make sure they're fairly compensated. So let's learn more about teacher requirements. So if you wanted to be a teacher, aka a tutor, let's see, here we go. This is exactly what we were looking for earlier. So what we look for, okay, so they break it down. Okay, so teaching experience. So we recommend that you have at least 2 years of teaching experience, tutoring, coaching, or mentoring. So that's cool. And then, okay, so you must have obtained a 4-year degree from university. Great news. This can be from any field or major. So, and then work authorization in the US or Canada, and then reliable technology. So that really breaks it down as far as that basically states if you're going to do this through a platform like VIP Kid right here, then for this particular platform, you do have to have a 4-year degree. But with this one, it doesn't matter what the field is or what the major is. So that's a really big bonus as far as if you have a degree, but you want to teach, then all you have to do is provide your degree, provide your credentials. And over here, basically the experience you need is just 2 years of teaching, tutoring, mentoring, or coaching. So, and this is probably one of the biggest benefits right here. So teach from anywhere. So anywhere in the world, no more hopping on a bus right here. Everything is online, which is cool. And flexible hours. So you can set your own schedule and you can teach as many hours as you like. And there's no hourly commitment. So, and there's already lesson plans that are being designed for whatever the subject is. So all you have to do is you have to go in there and have your subject in mind, and you would work that out with the platform themselves. And then they design all the materials for every class. So all you would basically need is to know what subject you're going to be teaching. So, and this is very cool. So this says um, basically they offer full English immersion for students. So there's no need to know any Chinese or other languages. Um, so that's pretty cool. And let's just go through these real quick. So this actually looks like one of the better platforms if you're going to sign up for a platform versus doing it on your own. So what is the application process like? Basically, you sign up for an account and you review some materials and do a short demo lesson so we can get a glimpse basically on how you teach. Um, and then they provide a bigger welcome to the world of teaching. You get additional information and support, and then you do a mock class with a current teacher. That's pretty cool, and they help you set up for it, and then you sign your contract and you get going. How are you guys doing so far? How does this look? Anybody have any questions about we're covering right now is like using a platform to actually sign up for online tutoring as the instructor. So we're going to go the next step we're going to go into and talk about how you would do this on your own as far as not through a platform because obviously they're going to take a cut of what you make here. So it looks like the ones that I found, tutor.com, VIP Kid, Chegg Study, those all do require 4-year degrees. Yep, it looks like, so it does look like that they all, yeah, so let me see. Yep, so it says we at least a bachelor's degree to be able to teach. So let's see if, okay, so it doesn't say as far as the cost, but um, I'm sure what they would do is it sounds like they would pay you a flat rate for, what you teach. I don't know if they list that here. Teacher, oh, here we go, teacher pay. Okay, so here's the fundamentals for teacher paying. And I know this is similar to tutor.com. So, okay, here we go. So the base rate is to pay between $7 and $9 per class. And classes are 25 minutes each, and you can earn the equivalent of $14 to $18 an hour. So that's kind of an idea. And also, what you can do is if you choose to do this on your own, then you can kind of take this as maybe a baseline pay grade as far as that goes and kind of see, all right, well, how much are you going to charge? So this is through the platform themselves, but if you were to do it on your own, then you can definitely um, make more, that kind of thing, because you can charge more money. So it looks like they don't necessarily take a cut. This is what they offer. So it's kind of more of like, kind of like a job kind of sense. Yeah, so Kusasi asked, what software and equipment would you need? So for these guys right here, VIP Kid and for tutor.com, it looks like that all you would need really is an internet connection. So they provide all of the coursework, all of the exams, all that kind of stuff. They provide all the materials online. So all you need is an internet and if you wanted to do like, check in with your camera, just have some sort of like a webcam or a camera through a laptop. But they provide everything. So VIP Kid does, and tutor.com does, and I know Chegg Study does too. So they provide all the lessons and everything. So all you have to do is, once you get accepted into the program as far as becoming a tutor, then what you can do is you're basically all set up. They'll have you run through a mock class and you're pretty much good to go as far as once you get in, you get accepted. Yep, so you use their lesson plan. Yeah, so it looks like you train with so Kusasi asks, is there a training period? So it looks like you run through a training period with a teacher. Let me see how long it says you would run through it. Okay. Okay, you do a mock class with a current teacher. So it looks like, so you do, it doesn't specifically say, but it says you're going to review some of the materials and do a short demo lesson. So that's kind of like your interview process to where you're kind of going through and you're actually, you're kind of showing them how you teach, what's the approach like, and that kind of thing. So it doesn't seem like there's too long of a training period. It's more of like you kind of do a ride along with the teacher that's already a part of the program, and then you do a mock class. It says with a current teacher. So you kind of get through the first. You do your own. You have your materials, and then you do like a short demo, and then from there, if you move to the next step, as far as like if they accept you as a teacher, then you do a mock class with a current teacher. So yeah, so Bookie Wookie's asked, do you have to have the degree in the subject you want to teach? Like if your degree is in music, you can only teach music. So actually they say that you can have any degree. It doesn't matter what the subject is, you can teach a different subject. So yeah, that's pretty cool about this one. And I'm kind of wondering how that works if you don't really have the experience. If you don't know really about this other subject, how are you going to teach it if you don't really, have the credentials in that subject? But yeah, so it says you can cross teach, like even if your degree is not in music, you could teach math or you could teach science, that kind of thing. So Yep. It sounds like the teacher gives you a grade or gives you an assessment on how well you perform in the mock class. So that basically is kind of like your interview process in order to be accepted through into the program as far as being the teacher or being one of the tutors online. So so this the difference between doing this, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. So this is definitely going to be a lot more structured as far as you don't need the materials, you don't need to come up with a lesson plan, you don't need kind of all that stuff traditionally you would. Hey, whoa, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. We're in the world of online tutoring, man. So yeah, you don't need the benefit of the platform is definitely you have everything in front of you and you basically just have a set fee. So they will pay you. The platform, it doesn't necessarily mean you come up with a price range. They'll give you a flat fee and that's kind of how it works. So unlike other platforms where they take a cut or they take a commission or kind of how you do that, um, this place is different. So they'll just give you, all right, here's your baseline pay. So that way it kind of takes some of the negotiation out, I think, and it makes it a little bit easier, I think, for both sides. So whoa, how you been doing? Hopefully you're doing good over there. All right. So I think, so what do you guys think as far as that goes? Does it seem like if you had a base pay and you had a base dollar amount, but you had all the materials, you had everything set up, you had the entire platform at your disposal, do you think that would be more enticing and just kind of have like an all-in-one package, even if you got paid less, versus doing it kind of on your own and creating the creating the lesson plans, creating all the materials, scheduling the Zoom meetings or the in-person meetings, that kind of thing? What would you guys choose as far as that goes? Like, do you think it makes sense to charge more and try to do it on your own, or to go through a platform? Yeah, Kusasi, I agree. I would have to agree. Especially if you're just getting into this online tutoring as like a side hustle. Maybe you already have like a stream of income coming in. Um, yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. Because what you can do in that sense, what you can do is take what you learn from the platform itself, and you can use that. It kind of take bits and pieces, and then you can use it for your own thing. So that just means that you would have to kind of figure out, okay, what tools am I going to use? We already covered that calendar tool, which was pretty awesome. So that takes one piece of the puzzle out, and then you like Sweetums mentioned, you set up a website. Um, as far as like basically introducing yourself and this is what I can do, this is what I'm qualified to teach, that kind of thing. And here's my credentials. You show your credentials, and then you can just kind of go from there, and you can set your own lesson plan. So I agree. I think the allure of commanding more money at first um, might be really enticing, but at the same time, I think it's probably best just to kind of fit in and kind of see, how the whole system works, especially if you're trying to do it as a side hustle. So, yep. Yeah, Bookie Woogie says, do these platforms honor bachelor's degree from certain countries outside the US? Yeah, it doesn't mention that you have to have schooling or education from within the US. It just mentions about having a bachelor's degree. So it sounds like it's open ended as far as like it doesn't matter where you get a bachelor's degree from, assuming it's like accredited and it's not from like, you know, Joe's schoolhouse, in the alleyway or something. As long as it's like an accredited school. Yeah, so I think you definitely need to provide, like copies of your diploma, um, that kind of thing. And probably anything else that you get as far as like um, some sort of like your transcripts or your records, your school records, just to prove. Because I know that anybody can probably Photoshop a degree. I don't know why somebody would want to do that, but you could probably Photoshop a degree, and then you can imagine things would go downhill very quickly. as far as that. Yeah, I would say so probably like your degree and then definitely your transcripts as far as that you went to that school. And you can get those from the school itself. I mean, they can send you a document or a packet or maybe even like a PDF or something these days. I mean, they try to make it like pretty easy. Yeah, definitely. Well, I think you're spot on. If you guys, let's just say in a perfect world that you guys wanted to be an online tutor, I mean, is there a subject that you would consider teaching as far as like, you're like, hey, I'm really good at this. I think I'd be really good at teaching XYZ. Is there anything that you guys would consider teaching? Or that, let's just say, if you had the education, you had the experience and everything, what would you like to teach? Is there something you'd like to teach? That's very cool. That's awesome, Sweetums. Yeah, so you teach math. I think math is one of those things where, and this is just my personal kind of opinion. I think, I don't know, I feel like either you get it, you understand it, and you can kind of digest it and you kind of process it, or you're like, you tend to be like totally lost. So either you're in sync, um, or you're like lost. You're like totally lost. I unfortunately was on the totally lost side of math. From high school up, I was like, so yeah, it wasn't a good time for me. Oh, that's very cool. Whoa. Teaching English, that's so cool. So do you think you'd want to teach English um like in, the current, I don't I apologize. I don't know if you're in the United States or not, but wherever country you're in, would you teach it locally or would you go somewhere else and teach it? Like kind of like traveling abroad, not necessarily traveling, but working abroad and teaching English to uh different cultures or, different country? Oh, Bookie, you would do the same. That's cool. I think my math is foundational. Yep, so Sweetums says the thing about math is that it's foundational and it builds skills and you should have learned, builds upon skills you should have learned. So people who think they're bad at math just need to be clear on whatever foundation they missed. Is it possible to miss the foundation of the entire high school? Like lessons? Is that possible? I I mean, I'm only kind of like half kidding. I don't know. I got to be honest. So I had a really crappy math teacher in ninth grade in high school. Um, That's cool. That's cool. Well, that's awesome. Teaching in the US and then teaching in Canada. Yeah, no, I think I definitely think the teacher has a lot to do with it. Like a lot. Their approach, how patient they are, the fact that they're not like 75 years old and, ready basically way past retirement. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think there was something in elementary school we missed, and then it built, and then it got more confusing. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I don't necessarily remember math too much in like elementary school and middle. It was mainly just in high school because I failed a lot, but somehow passed enough to graduate. But that's another story for another time. But yeah, no, I think that's admirable because I would imagine if you took a poll from people saying what is your worst subject, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say math. Yeah, yeah, whoa, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, and I know kind of, in a real world kind of situation bubble, like I can understand that. I can relate with that, definitely. 100%. Which is pretty sad. I mean, it's sad, but it's like, okay, what do you do? How do you kind of fix that or help with that? That kind of thing. Yeah, that is true. That is true, Swinums. Some people don't even know multiplication tables. And once you figure out whatever they missed, you can teach them to catch up where they need to be. Yeah. No, that sounds good. And I think, you know, it it's kind of one of those things where I think if you have a bad experience, bad taste in your mouth from the very beginning, meaning like when you're younger, then I think it's kind of like, and this is just an example, like, when people always say they hate vegetables and their parents like, oh, you got to eat your vegetables, cram them down their throat, and then when they become an adult, they don't eat vegetables because of how they viewed them when they were younger. It was almost like a punishment type thing in a sense. But I think that's kind of how learning is too, especially with math, is like if you get off on the wrong path with math, like learning, like really early on, and you don't course correct or you don't figure out, I think that just, I'm not saying you can't make it work and you can't understand, but like, I think it's more of, it's easier to get frustrated and easier to get, I guess, like disheartened as you're kind of going along because what you're supposed to be building on, um, you don't have those foundational or fundamental skills that you should have had, like Sweetums mentioned, like, so it's one of those things where I think that's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I personally struggled, but I know a lot of people that, math comes easy to, and they enjoyed it and they enjoyed kind of figuring out like a puzzle, but so I gotta say though, when you think about being a tutor in itself, I think there's definitely some, especially if you're gonna do it like flexibility wise, like in terms of doing it on your own time. So, yep. So Sweetums said if you had a bad experience starting out, you always feel behind, like you're bad at it. Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, yep. You'll have to decouple those things. Definitely. And it stinks too. Like, obviously, as an adult, then you're like, okay, I mean, you need math to a certain degree when you're an adult, obviously, but like, I don't have any desire to learn anymore. It's just one of those things where it's like, man, it just got so burned into the brain where it's like, I just have this bad taste like permanently about math. And I know as an adult, you should, I think there's a fine line between being a little more mature and being like, okay, well, I need to learn this kind of stuff. But anyway, no, I love this conversation. I definitely love how, we're kind of talking about it, interacting. So I'm going to try to kind of course correct and get back on topic. Um, so the benefits and the challenges, I think, of becoming an online tutor, not even just online. Well, this says online. So I guess we'll just focus on online. But what I was going to say is, um, hey, Grand Shirley. Yes. You guys made it. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. How you guys doing? Seriously, when you guys show up, whoa, Sweetums. I mean, when you guys show up and you join in and, you pop into the live, it just, I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Now we can get started. Now we can rock and roll. So, oh, that's great, Sweetums. Yeah. So anybody whose kids hate math, recommend Khan Academy in YouTube on YouTube. Right on. Yep. Yeah, well, I agree. If you like space or computers, then you can have a new motivation to learn math. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Yep. That's awesome, Grand Shirley. You guys made it. You just, well, hey, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. So for you guys, Grand Shirley, is it Wednesday, June 26th, um, in the morning? Or are you guys further along? Yeah, I'm super curious about that now. I love being able to like talk to you guys and see kind of, you know, the difference and kind of share like, hey, you know, okay. So Wednesday, June 26th at 7:16 a.m. Okay. So just to give you guys just a sense of an idea, like we're back here in the well, I guess it would be in the past, right? So where I am in the United States, it's Tuesday, June 25th at 5:17 p.m. That's so cool. Thank you guys so much for getting up. I know this is I don't know what your normal get up wake up time. I don't know what your normal wake up time is, but thank you so much for joining. I know it's early, so we really appreciate it. You guys didn't miss much. We were just kind of chatting about like the benefits of online tutoring. We talked about some tools that you can use to like auto schedule your calendar stuff. Um, then we were just kind of chatting about like, you know, what you would teach like in a perfect world because some of these platforms that we talked about, Chegg Study, we looked at tutor.com, VIP, Kid, they all require like a 4-year degree to be an online tutor. So we were just kind of looking at some of that stuff as far as what are the actual requirements. They want to see that you have the credentials to be a tutor. And a lot of these places require that 4-year degree, but it seems like it doesn't necessarily matter what the degree's in. So as far as like the subject or the topic. So yeah, so Bookie asked, what if you were to teach music but you didn't have a degree, but you've been playing an instrument for years? Yeah, I do think that there is some sort of equivalent experience level that could absolutely kind of suffice like in lieu of a degree. Yeah, well, no problem. So I got to be totally honest. I haven't been on Pinterest in a little bit, so you're gonna have to kind of fill us in. But yeah, absolutely, we will for sure. Hey, you know what? We're all good, right? I mean, I'm gonna bookmark like kind of where I was in my notes. And yeah, totally. If you want to talk about it now, well, we can totally talk about it. No worries. I'm bookmarking where I am, in my little outline here, so I don't get lost. You're good. Hey, you know what? That's what we always say. Doesn't matter if it goes off on a little tangent, as long as it's, well, I guess technically this isn't necessarily related, but hey, it's all good. Go for it, man. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. Whoa, don't worry about it. I got everything bookmarked. You're good. Yeah, no, you're good. And you know what? Let's be honest. We can probably swing this into online tutoring because you could be tutoring somebody about social media, right? I mean, that's a real thing. Okay. While Woe is getting ready, I'm just gonna mention a couple more topics here, just so I don't sit there and look like an idiot on the camera, just like staring off and like zoning out. So Woe, do your thing in the background. And I promise I'll be quiet once you start typing in the chat. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so I'm just gonna keep talking, and then you feel free to do the update, and then we'll kind of talk about it. Okay. So as far as like the benefits and the challenges, um, let's see. Hey, Bookie, did I answer that? Did I just jump right over that? Okay, no worries. Well, take your time. So, oh yeah, I think I mentioned that, Bookie. So, what if you were to teach music, but you didn't have a degree, but you've been playing an instrument for years? Yeah, so I definitely would say I think there is a certain level of, if you have the learning, if you have the experience and the actual, um, as far as like, not just the experience, but also, you know, you're doing it and you've been doing it. You have, you know, it's kind of like, what do you call it? Like a cross, not like contribution, but you can it basically acts like in lieu of a degree if you have the experience. So yeah, definitely Bookie. I would say for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so Bookie asked, would you then have to have a personal website to market yourself? I think so in that regard because a lot of these platforms really want you to focus on a specific type of subject, but also like have the degree to kind of go with it. So you definitely would have to have your own website and then figure out the way that you would take payment, whether it be Stripe, PayPal, whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be something like that official. It could be Venmo, Cash App, could be Zelle, whatever. But I do think that's probably the best to have your own website. Yeah, so Kusasi asks, how would you find students in a situation like that? So what you could do is you could post locally. Yeah, definitely word of mouth for sure. Word of mouth is a great place to start. Um, oh, you found it awesome. All right, well, you take the floor. I'm just gonna keep talking real quick, and then you chime in. You do your thing, and I'll, uh, you know, I'll talk about it once you have it in the chat. Yeah, so word of mouth is good, and then where you could do also like a local neighborhood type thing. So in terms of you can ask around your little network, maybe family and friends, and kind of build up your client list that way, just so you have the kind of the feelers out there. Because I think if you don't know anybody and you don't have like reviews on your website, that type thing, or like testimonials, then how do you actually build up your client base if nobody knows who you are? So I think that if you weren't going to go the platform route and do it on your own, you definitely get to pocket like all the money. So okay. Hey Laura. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. It's great to see you. Okay, so Woe says it's a change of the boards. Okay. Yep. All right. So Bookie Wookies, what about cancellations and no shows? Should you penalize them for that since it's wasted time? Yeah, I definitely would. I would say you could write something like in your disclaimer, your contract, that says if there's a no show or you just flat out you cancel whatever within 24 hours, then you're going to be charged X amount of money. You could have something like that. Hey, Kanisa, welcome. How you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Yeah, hey Laura, so that is on me. So, and I apologize because it's not going to be the same about every day. Only because, my personal kind of like time schedule situation. So I try to make it around the same time every day, but sometimes it's a little off. So it's about 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Time, in the United States is usually typically when we start. So, but no worries. You can always, kind of go back or, if you'd like to, you can always watch a replay. No worries at all. So I apologize. I know there's no real kind of way to kind of get everybody as far as like time wise. Yeah, no, Grant, surely I love that. Network is your network. That's well said. And I've actually never heard that before, but that's spot on. All right, whoa. So it looks like you said it was what was it? It was I'm going through the chat. You said it's a change to the boards. So how is Pinterest changing the boards? Or what are they doing with the boards? Is it like a Yeah, sorry, I'm not gonna speculate. I'll just let you chime in. And it's, there's a saying that goes, kind of like along the lines with what Grant and Shirley said, and it basically goes like, you know, um, it's who you know, that kind of thing. And I think that absolutely correlates with what we're talking about as far as like building your network, building your client list, and everybody in between. So somebody, they tell somebody, and it turns into like a word of mouth marketing situation to where that's all it is word of mouth referrals. And I think, to be honest, in my opinion, I think that's one of the best ways to spread the word anyway is word of mouth. Because you have that direct connection with that person and you can trust them. You're like, oh yeah, you've used this person. Okay, cool. Yeah, I trust them. So all right, well, anytime you can chime in and I'll definitely I'll keep a lookout for your chat, okay? Yeah, Kusasi. So Kusasi asked, how would you set your rates, whatever the platforms are charging? I would probably start there if you really have no idea what to set it at, and then I would just kind of go up a little bit. So, let's just say, for example, maybe the platforms charge maybe like $14 to $16 an hour. If you're doing it on your own, your time, your resources, all that stuff, your energy, I would probably start maybe like if the platforms are like 14 to 16 bucks an hour, maybe make it more like 15 to 18 and just jump it up a little bit. Oh, cool. So Woe says it seems like they made it easier to share boards on social media like Instagram and stories. So Woe is our resident trending news. What do we got going on popping in here? So we got a little bit of a Pinterest update here. We know it doesn't necessarily directly correlate to online tutoring, but hey, we're good here, right? It's all good. So any way that we can teach each other a little something about making money online and that kind of thing, I'm all for it. I think okay, Kusasi, let's see. Sorry, I didn't want to look over your comment. Do people really sign up for online tutors if there are YouTube channels that teach things for free? Yeah, I mean, I think there could be some, maybe like an old school mentality where you have like a family member, maybe who's ever paying for it, has like this kind of mindset of like, okay, we need to pay somebody either in person or pay somebody online and actually pay somebody that's qualified versus you, the student or whatever, sitting in front of the computer. So I can kind of see that where a family member or a parent would kind of like not feel as comfortable with the student learning for free because maybe they thought the value wasn't there, possibly, even though we know that's not fully true. But, and maybe, the curriculum, they'd want to see an actual breakdown of the curriculum. And that's kind of what they're paying for, like the one on one versus just kind of watching like an on demand video. Hey, you're good. Whoa, no worries. Yeah, Bookie. We got a rep here for VIP Kid, Bookie. If you need something, just let Bookie know. That was so funny. Was that yesterday, Bookie? I was like, man, you're a rep for everything. You're like rep number 3. I already can't remember. I'm like, we're on day 14 of this 30-day challenge, and like all these days are like, what did we talk about yesterday? I don't even remember. So, oh, influencer marketing. That's right. Nice. So, yeah. So I was gonna say, kind of built off of what Bookie and Sweetums, the questions that they have asked, is in lieu of having an actual degree, I think you can obtain qualifications such as like certifications or on the job experience as far as like building out your client list. And so here are my if it was me, here are my qualifications. Oh, that was 2 days ago. Sorry. That's all right. That's all right. We love having you here, Bookie. Excuse me. So yeah, definitely enhancing I think it's one thing to be able to have the skill and the experience, but the other part of being a tutor is like kind of the obvious, right? Is like, how do you teach? How do you teach somebody? How do you actually transfer information, whether it be through digital, like video like this, or in person? I mean, you have to have some sort of a, I think, kind of a natural way to kind of do that knowledge transfer, or somebody's gonna sit there like, I don't get it, just like all kind of like dumbfounded. Yeah, Laura, I think you're spot on. So sometimes you have to pay to get all the information, but free platforms are equally beneficial. Yep. And I think that's such a crucial, I think, understanding is that there's no reason why you can't kind of marry the two, right? You can have the free platforms to kind of fill in, like a YouTube or, Udemy, Skillshare, whatever you can get for free in order to kind of fill in maybe some of the gaps or get like a little bit different perspective or like a bonus. Kind of like a bonus perspective. But I do agree that I think when you pay, you definitely there's this level of um, like validity or integrity. You have to take it seriously because you're paying money. I think that's part of it too, not just for like to hold up the integrity of the teacher or the tutor, but also the student. Like, okay, your parents are paying for it, or you're paying for it, or whatever. So you need to take this seriously and actually learn because this is this is hard-earned money. So I think everything changes when there's money involved, whatever that means. Yeah. Sorry, wrong pipe. Yeah, I agree, Sweetums. I think you definitely have to have if you have a lesson plan in mind, and you can kind of almost do like I like the way you put it, like do an assessment for your student, and see like okay, where are their pain points, where are they struggling, what do they may be lacking in, or skills, what do they not understand, and really kind of build out that entire, I guess, kind of full picture of, what you're about to go on this process of learning with this individual. So yeah, I think there's more than just, hey, blah 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 blah. Blah. That's the information. Hope you learn something. That kind of thing. So yeah, well, I think TikTok would be good for advertising, definitely, for sure. As far as, oh, you mean like advertising being an online tutor? Yeah, no, I think that would be that would be actually, that's a good idea, a really good idea. I think free platforms are kind of scattered, and a course or a lesson plan is more focused and saves time, definitely. Yeah, that's true, Sweetums. I mean, I think you definitely have to be like definitely self motivated, and you have to have this certain drive and determination to actually learn. Because if you're doing it on your own, especially if you're doing it at home, there's so many distractions. Like, even like this, I keep looking over here because the sky's getting dark, then it's bright, that kind of thing. I mean, there's distractions all around. So I think you need to have this sense of, okay, I'm going to focus on this. Do I really want to learn it? If I do, then I'm going to take it seriously. Yeah, sorry. I apologize if that's distracting. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna try not to do that. I don't want to. Number one, I have notes over here on this side, like on my screen. But if I look this way, I'm looking out the window. So I probably should shut that because I don't want to take time away from you guys and have that be distracting. So I think there's something to be said about like, obviously educating yourself before you can actually teach somebody. So no problem, Bookie. It's all good. No worries. So in terms of being able to teach somebody, obviously you need to have this level of experience or education to where you can't just teach somebody without actually innately knowing the information. So I think you can try to like fake teach somebody, but it's one of those things where I think it has to be legit, right? I mean, to a certain extent, you can't necessarily fake knowing information. Either you do or you don't. So um, it's one of those kind of like I don't necessarily think it's really a gray area. So I know Woe kind of mentioned it. What do you guys think? What is your take on leveraging social media in order to promote yourself or market yourself for online tutoring? I mean, what do you think would be some good ways to do that? Like to market yourself? Or how would you market yourself, do you think, to really kind of get your name out there? Or to make yourself maybe stand apart a little bit? What do you guys think would be a good way to do that? Yeah, definitely Sweetums. I think that's really, I love that. Like, seriously. I mean, how old are some of these people? Seriously. Just drop into a live and say things to somebody. Yep. I'm like, come on, man. I mean, like, just pop in, pop in and, I guess they've said worse things. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you, Sweetums, for taking care of them. So, all right, let me see. That distracted me. So, Sweetums said, what if you mimicked masterclass series ads? Yeah, I think that, guess I'm not tutoring that guy. Get him out of here. Yeah. That's funny. Um, Yeah, I think that's a great idea to mimic like the masterclass ads to kind of take it and kind of shift it into your own kind of unique way, your own method, what you can, kind of put your own spin on it. I think that's incredibly that's a smart way to go about it. And especially with, obviously like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all those platforms, those are like really quick kind of like cuts. So I think you could do that as far as like promoting yourself, especially with being a tutor. You could have like cards or something that you could use to hold up and really make it engaging. You could even do it like on index cards or like bigger cards. So where you're doing like cut scenes, like say on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, where you're not saying anything. You just have it written out and then you drop the card, there's another card, that kind of thing. Have you guys seen that type of like marketing before where there's no speaking, it's all just written on cards? That might be something good with like some kind of fun music in the background just to kind of like play around. I think that would definitely get somebody's attention for sure. Doing that kind of like quick cut. So, so we kind of talked about like we have these. Okay, so Bookie says, what if we want to teach English and you made a character like a Duolingo owl, but it's like your English lingo shark. Sorry, Bookie. Do is it Duolingo like two different languages? I don't think I've seen that before. I don't. I mean, Sweetums. I don't think I've seen that. Are you guys familiar with that? Anybody else familiar with that? Is that kind of like Rosetta Stone? I saw a commercial for that last night. Sorry, that's the only one that I know. I think is Rosetta Stone. Am I the only? Am I the crazy one? Am I the one that's like I've never seen that before? I don't know. I could be. I'm sure I'm the one that's that's out here on this island. All right. That's funny. But genuinely, seriously, like I actually never heard of that before. Now I'm gonna look into it. So I will look into it for sure. So we talked about these online tutoring platforms, which definitely have a lot of pros. You know, the only cons I can really think of for these like kind of preset platforms is really like the money, honestly. Um, so it's more of like because you typically can't set your own rate, you got to kind of go with what the platform is offering, and it's typically like a bait. Typically, it's a base rate cost, so a base rate like dollar amount. So um, that's where creating your own website and using social media to kind of capitalize on your own strategy, right? Create your own strategy. Then you can really command whatever you want as far as like um, dollar amount. So thank you, Wo. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I think so, Bookie. I think if I saw it, I would probably recognize it. I do know the owl from the with the glasses and with the cap on, like the cap and gown kind of thing. And then I think it's like a what is it? It's a Tootsie. No, 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 no. It's a how many licks does it take to get to the center of the? All right, now I'm going way off. I'm going way off into like the 80s and 90s. Yeah, Kusasi, that is a really that's a definitely a really crucial question. So if you're going to teach children, how do I ensure the safe and secure online tutoring environment? So really, that if you're going to go down that route, maybe it would be better for you to start with a platform itself and kind of see how they do, what tools they use, and kind of what securities measures that they have in place. Um, that one's a really slippery slope, to be honest, because especially with you know different kinds of things, like potentials. I would say, as far as using tools and secure kind of like video, you can always do that. As far as like you using like Zoom, I guess that might be the best way, but that might be something where I would probably consider doing a platform first to kind of see how they do it, and then if you wanted to take that on your own and kind of do your own thing. So, but no, that's a good question. I think that's a slippery slope just because you want to make sure that everybody's protected, everybody's safe, and it's secure, and everything is obviously held to the utmost like excuse me, like standards. Dude, you got nightmares from that owl, the one with the graduation hat. That's gonna kill me. I can't think of what commercial that was in. Anyway, so yeah, does that kind of answer that, Kusase? Like, I would probably focus more on the, actually signing up for one of these online tutoring platforms. Tootsie Pop. Is that what it was? I thought it was a lolly, some kind of like, some kind of. Is that it? Yeah, yeah. Yes. Thank you. This is the beauty of doing this live. Is like we could go like this, be on track, and then but it's all good. It works, right? So we can get back on. We can get back on topic, and I'll stop talking about commercials from like the 80s and 90s. Yes, that's it. That's it, Kusasi. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's funny. That sounds like just like math. Yeah, it does, right? Yeah. Like what the heck? Oh man. So, okay, so we talked about kind of using a platform that's already existing to kind of, get your feet wet and kind of see how they work it. What tools do they use? How do they actually conduct their lessons and that kind of thing. And then on the flip side of that, we also kind of touched on if you created your own website and you set up your own payment with like Stripe or PayPal or however you want to accept payment. And we talked about using the calendar app, Calendly, in order to schedule your appointments. So those are two really well-rounded strategies, I think, as far as like online tutoring. Um, I think another part of it is if you're going to do it from your house, you definitely have to invest in the equipment. So, um, obviously like a good quality like webcam or like a microphone and reliable internet. You don't want to be sitting there talking to like a Zoom call and all of a sudden it starts buffering and it's like super laggy. So yeah, I would say Kusasi asked, would you have them pay you before or after? Yeah, you know what? And to be honest, I think what probably happens with these structured professional platforms is I'm sure that they take the money up front. And then you schedule the class. And then if you had to cancel or whatever, you'd give them a 24-hour window and then you might get your money back or you might have to reschedule. So I would say it's really kind of like up to you as far as, you know, how you want to do that. Do you want to take the money up front? That way you don't have to really make sure that someone's not going to kind of, scam you or whatever. Like if you do half and half, then they could show up for the first part and then they could just take off and not pay the rest, right? Yeah, so you could yeah, Kusasi, you could do so a webcam definitely has a microphone built in. Um just depending on like the quality of the webcam itself, I don't know like how crisp and clear the microphone is like built in. If you have something that's like, a couple $100 for a webcam, then I'm sure you're fine, but you just don't want it to be like crackly and, have pops and stuff like that. Okay, so Kusasi says any mic recommendations. Yep, actually I do. So there's one here in terms of the brand Shure is who I would probably go with. Because that's like basically the most popular or like the crown jewel for, doing podcasting and that kind of thing. Um Here's one that I can put in the thing in the link for you guys just so you can see it. Yeah, Blue Yeti mics. Yeah. Let me see. I don't think I can post a picture. How do I do this? Okay, this one is for the Shure. Let me type this out. So Shure MV7X. Yeah, Shure. That's a Shure MV7X mic. That one is definitely one of the more popular ones as far as like, you know, podcasting, like vocal recording. So, I mean, that would definitely, and it's what is that? That's some of them are like a couple $100, but this one looks like a 179, I think. And it's definitely an Amazon choice. So, it's got 4.8 stars. And it looks like you can add a like a boom arm, kind of like that structure where you have the thing and it comes off and then you can have the mic. So I mean that this is something that's definitely like it's definitely doable. Like $179, right? It's I mean it's a lot of money, but I think at the same time you're not necessarily breaking the bank. So actually this is probably something that I would consider. Like I've been wanting to get a mic for a while. Not just like the little lapel ones, but also like something that's like kind of freestanding. Um, Yeah, that's true. Well, so you want to make sure that you don't need a mixer like an audio interface, that kind of thing. I think you may, depending on. Let me see if I can see the pictures. I don't know if this one's USB or not. So it looks like it's XLR output. So yeah, I think you would need some sort of um, like audio interface. So the mixer, Kusasi, is basically like it's an electronic little kind of device that you plug the cable in for the mic, and then it goes out, and you have like another cable that goes in your computer, so it can record the audio. And you can also do like mixing would be like you've heard like an equalizer, like you turn up the bass or the treble or the vocal tones. So you can also do that on a mixer too, depending on what you get. But so you definitely want to make sure that you um, yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with Woe. I mean, it makes the quality very good. Definitely. That one, Kusasi, the mixer is gonna be extra. Yeah, so it would basically be like the microphone and then the mixer, and then that would plug into the computer. No, you're good. I'm actually learning as it is. I'm learning about like podcast setup and doing that kind of thing just because I really do want to get a mic um, for, the little kind of like YouTube studio area. So, and then of course, we talked about so Boogie says, do those platforms have feedback and reviews? Yeah, those platforms, the ones that are like the VIP Kid and the tutor.com, definitely when as far as like the teacher goes, there's definitely reviews and feedback that you can provide as far as like the actual student or maybe like the parent. If the student is under 18, you can provide feedback based on, how do you feel they did? Are they a good teacher? Do you feel like you're learning something? Just really positive, you know, a positive way that you could kind of, see. Yeah, that's true. Oh, sorry, Kusasi or Bookie. Sorry, I thought you meant does the teacher have reviews? But yeah, the platforms, do they have reviews? Yeah, Woe said it right. I think Trustpilot is probably one of the best places to go to check. Um, as far as like you just go there and you search a company. Let me see if I can post this in here. Ah, crap. Sorry, I didn't mean to paste that again. Oh, okay. Got it. I was trying to paste the Trustpilot thing and I pasted the link again. I removed it so it's not like spamming the chat. Okay, yeah. So I think yeah, I do think within the platform, each teacher or each instructor definitely has reviews and ratings. And I'm sure once you sign up to be a part of that teacher's, curriculum or you know, whether I'm pretty sure you can't choose a teacher. You can probably choose a topic or the subject, but you probably can't choose a teacher. They probably just kind of match you up with somebody um, as far as someone who they think would be a good fit. And then I'm sure you can leave feedback and, you know, obviously it's probably anonymous or you may be able to reach out to somebody personally in terms of being able to see about, providing feedback, that kind of thing. Okay, so we talked about, kind of setting up your space. So, you know what? I'm not sure if, so Kuzazi says, do you know if Squarespace lets you do websites with feedback or reviews? I think they probably do. Let me just double check because I don't want to lie to you on this live stream here. Does Squarespace allow you to leave reviews on website? Awesome. Yes, it does, Kusasi. So it says Squarespace allows customers to leave reviews on a website after purchasing physical, digital, or service products. And you just have to enable that. So if you go into your dashboard, I don't have a Squarespace account, but if you go into a Squarespace dashboard, you would just go into the selling submenu and then go to selling tools. And that way you could enable reviews, which is actually really cool. And I think it's really helpful too, because, you know, that's how you build that, the trust factor, the reputation, and you really kind of build it up with your customers. And not only that, but you expand your customer base because, going back to what we said before, like with word of mouth, um, that's such a powerful tool is the word of mouth and then having just having people basically like what's a word vouch for you, like vouch for what you can do. Um, that's why I think it's so important if you're just starting out, like trying to be a tutor. You post locally on social media, so like through Facebook, maybe you create a Facebook post, or like Nextdoor, that kind of neighborhood social platform. Or I mean, you can even do it like through Instagram or maybe like Pinterest, that kind of thing, and see if you can kind of get some leads or some hits that way too. But I think in the beginning, nothing beats word of mouth for sure, because you want to make sure that you have people that can actually write you legitimate reviews. But once you start building those reviews, then I think others will kind of see those and they'll kind of be like, okay, I feel like I can trust this person a little bit more. Yeah, Bookie says, what if you have a technical issue during a tutoring session? So I think there's a couple different ways you can approach that. So number one, the teacher themselves, if they can't fix it within like a certain amount of time, um, they could just kind of put the pause on that tutoring session and then they can reconvene, or they could basically, you know, not charge you for it, depending on how far you're in, and then just reschedule. That way, that might be the best thing to do rather than trying to troubleshoot it. You can just reschedule and then say, okay, well, we're just going to go and do it like a little bit further down. So, I mean, a different day or different week, whatever works. So, I would always get nervous about that. Seriously, like if there was a storm coming in or, whatever it was, just general like life that can happen with technology. And you're like, I'm in the middle of a tutoring session. I can't lose my internet or whatever, whatever it is. So, but that would be something that I think would be like a heightened level of stress for like if you're doing it like online versus like in person. You always have to consider like, do you do it at home? Are you totally confident that your setup is really secure and it's going to be stable because you're dealing with these interactions like over video. So, hey, Bookie. Yep. So if you're on a platform, will the platform iron out those customer service issues for you? Yep, they definitely will for sure. So they'll be like the middleman or kind of like the liaison between you and the customer. Um, and that way, because if it's a platform and there's technical issues from like actually from the platform, then I'm sure they'll be the ones to kind of offer some sort of refund or, that kind of thing. Just for like the time that was, I don't want to say wasted, but the time that was missing because of the technical error. Um, so yeah, no, that's true. Well, I mean, consider buying those emergency backup power chargers. That's a good idea. I mean, I think if this is your business, your core, like your bread and butter, so to speak, I mean, you're gonna have as many fail-safe options as you possibly can to kind of make sure that you keep the ball rolling. Because if this is your source of income, then you definitely want to minimize you know any single point of failure. You want to make sure that you're as stable as you possibly can be. Yeah, I like that one, Kusasi. I'm laughing and I don't mean to be mean or like, disrespectful, but I mean, I can understand that. What if your student is difficult or unmotivated and it's just there because their parent forced them? So, what I would say is you get through the lesson or you cut it short, that kind of thing. If they're really being obnoxious and just disrespectful and that kind of thing, or if they're just sitting there like this or like this or something like it's blatantly obvious that they don't care what you're saying. Um, you can only do so much as the instructor or the teacher. So I would be as professional as humanly possible to end it in a way that is, like honest, but at the same time, if you have to end it, you got to end it. So you could always end the current session and then you could reach out to the parent or the customer and just kind of explain the situation and see, okay, this is what happened. Do you want to try again? Or, and then maybe just cut them a break. If you're doing it on your own, like not through a platform, do you want to just cut them a break and say, okay, well, I'll only charge you half, or this one's free, depending on how far. I mean, if it's like an hour session and you know this you're already 50 minutes in, then maybe it's not worth it to say for like a full refund. But you can kind of use your own discretion when you think about, okay, what I want to do as far as, do I need a refund or do I just cut ties and just say, okay, it's not a good fit, thank you, and then just work with somebody else. So Bookie asks, are the lessons recorded so the platform can monitor your session, like for inappropriate behavior? You know what? I think if these, so I'm not sure if there's a way to like, I know you can record like Zoom. So I'm pretty sure like depending on what video platform they use that they have integrated into the system, um, most likely you as a customer would have to sign off and give your consent and say, I agree to be videotaped or this session to be recorded basically, or through like Microsoft Teams, that kind of thing. Um, and if you give your consent, then absolutely. I think that if it's recorded and you kind of go back and you kind of you start looking through and you assess like what the situation was, then I think that's probably the best way to kind of handle it as far as to not only keep yourself safe and protected, but also so it's not like a he said she said kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. I think so, Bookie, definitely. I would think that a lot of these platforms, if you're doing like a video, if that's kind of how you're doing your lesson, then it would, I'm sure it would be recorded. And that way it's kind of like you can view like an on-demand version of, you know, your lesson so you can go back and kind of watch what you did. I think that would be extremely helpful. If they don't do that, then maybe they just give you like a printout or like a PDF. But I would imagine it would probably be some sort of video so you can kind of go back and, you know, you can kind of assess what you've, you know, the lesson plan, that kind of thing. But I do think that is doing it on your own. I think there's definitely a lot of challenges. You know, we've already talked about some of them, having the right tools, having the right setup, you know, the learning curve of understanding all that it takes, but also like developing the curriculum is, I think, and the lesson plans, I think is incredibly, can be difficult and challenging, I think. Yeah, definitely Kusasi, I agree. You would think it would be in the contract so you knew before you signed up, hey, you're gonna give us consent to film you because we need it for our, you know, whatever, like kind of like a playback to keep everybody safe. Not just that, but also to review the lesson, what was, I guess, kind of you know, talked about or so if the student is lost halfway through, then they can go back and they can kind of watch the lesson again. I like that idea of having like an on-demand video. So, but I agree. I mean, starting it on your own versus starting it on a platform, I think there's a huge learning curve to doing it on your own if you really don't know where to start or don't know what to do. Because when you're trying to develop a curriculum and lesson plans and quizzes and all that kind of thing, um, that's not easy. So, like preparing to like engage with the student through any kind of interactive material, right? Not just kind of like a talking head kind of thing, but like worksheets, slides, quizzes, all that stuff takes work and somebody's got to make it, right? So, um, I think it's all about trying to find that happy medium. Um, so I would probably jump on a platform first. So, so Kusasi asked, do you have any recommendations for software or apps that enhance interactivity, like lesson plans and quizzes? Yeah, definitely. So there is a website. Let me get the website here. So there is a website here. Um, yep, Quizlet. Here's one that's called. Let's see, what is it called? Outgrow. Sorry, I was looking at it like half out of the screen. So Outgrow. It says try the best online quiz maker tool. Custom templates. This is definitely something that I think would be a huge benefit if you're doing it on your own to utilize this tool. So I'll put this here in the chat. Outgrow. So this is actually an AI quiz maker. So it definitely allows you to speed up and kind of like streamline the process. That's one that I would use. For lesson plans, I would actually, you could actually just start like in Canva, as far as that goes, because there's like lesson plan templates that you can use in Canva. Yeah, so Bookie says you could probably even look up teacher lesson plans online and borrow from those to make your own. Yeah, yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, there's a typical ones like Scholastic. You guys remember those growing up, like Scholastic books. Um, there's also like National Geographic has different printouts and templates that you can use. PBS, they also have resources as far as like making lesson plans. But for kind of more of like the newer stuff, Canva, I would start with Canva and definitely a free account. Planboard is another one. So it's Planboard. Let me see. I think it's planboard.com. Let me see. I know I saw this one before. Power School. I don't know why these are. Okay, maybe that's an app actually. Sorry. That may not be what I thought it was. The real question is how can we help out tutors? Yeah, absolutely. So, you know what's funny, Wo, is our kids they use Power School in the school district here. Yep, we utilize that. Okay, let's see. I just want to show you guys how we can do. Boogie wants to be the virtual assistant to the tutor. That sounds awesome. That's like combining, that's like merging, a couple different, lessons we've talked about. Oh, cool. Well, you used it in high school. That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I would say, so Kusasi asks, how would you handle language barriers slash language differences for teaching online? So I would say, what you can do is you can have if there's like a chat feature or like maybe some sort of like an online maybe use like Google Interpreter or that kind of thing, like or like a translation kind of program. You can utilize that if there's like a chat where the if the English is not the first language. I would just say you probably vet some of these clients first to kind of see, okay, are we a good fit? And I know you don't want to just turn down anybody just because there's a language barrier, but at the same time, you want to make sure that not only are you effective, but the student is actually learning and digesting and really kind of understanding the information too. So, yeah, I think it really is going to depend on how you do it, how in depth the lesson is. If it's one of those things where you're just kind of talking and the student doesn't understand what you're saying, then you may have to kind of step back and reassess and say, okay, you know what, this may just not be a good fit. So you kind of, you know, basically help the student find another tutor, or kind of steer them in the right direction. There's nothing wrong with politely turning down, clients because there's some sort of a your language barrier or some other obstacle in your way. I definitely don't mean that you shouldn't try to figure it out, but if it's like if it's basically stopping the learning process or it's, you just can't get through it just for whatever it is, then I think it's probably a good idea to maybe sever ties professionally. Yeah, Sweetum says Google Translate. Yep, definitely. You could totally use Google Translate. And some of these apps, you can even just talk into them and then they would translate it. So Kusasi says, how would I accommodate diverse learning needs and disabilities? Or would you need a specific qualification for that? Yeah, that's a tough one. I think you definitely because you definitely need these like the special education teachers definitely are have their own professional skill set and their own expertise as far as like the approach and the perspective as to how you actually deliver the material. So I think that would probably be more left up to maybe some more of the professional tutors that have experience in maybe accommodating students with disabilities and learning specific learning needs. That way, you're not. The last thing you want to do is get have a student be frustrated because they don't understand. What you're trying to the material you're trying to uh, teach them, but at the same time maybe you as the tutor, the teacher, you don't have the specific tools and the experience, which is okay. And you just maybe direct them towards somebody who has a little bit more, I think, knowledge and understanding and expertise. So I think that's probably the best way to do it, like in a professional sense, without, having it become an issue. So you basically just, that was something that you would probably ask in the beginning when you had a student sign up and say, okay, is there any, maybe you have like a survey or some sort of like an assessment, and that's how you determine if somebody is a good fit for you as the tutor, the teacher, but also the student. So maybe that's kind of like a pre-assessment. Okay, so Bookie says, what if you have a student who constantly misses sessions, since it affects your time and money too? Yeah, I think what I would do is so two things, two ways to approach it. One, if the student is 18 or above, you would definitely talk to them as an adult and say, basically, is there a problem here? Do we need to figure something out? You're always missing these sessions. You pay good money for this. Is this something that maybe you're not interested? Maybe you want to kind of like take a step back, reassess, and then come back when maybe you're in a better, kind of like mindset, or you're able to learn. Or if the student is a minor below 18, then I would just reach out to the parent or the guardian or whoever and kind of explain the situation. Like, these lessons are being paid for, but they're no call, no shows. How do we figure this out? We just want to come to an amicable, like professional resolution so everybody's happy, that kind of thing. If maybe this isn't for this individual right at this time, so maybe we can kind of, take a step back and reassess. So yeah. So Bookie asks, what if they miss one session? Do you reschedule without charging additional fees, or is there a penalty? So I really think because it's your business, it's your time, and you're going out of your way, you could have other clients that you book in that in that space. Maybe what you do is, instead of just saying like, "Hey, I'm going to charge you a fee," maybe what you can do is you set the standard or the precedent before and say, "Look, we'll give you one, you have basically one free pass to miss, or if something comes up, one free pass to miss a month, maybe." And then anything additional, if you miss or you no call, no show, then we're going to start charging you X amount of money. Just because the problem is if you don't show up, that spot could be filled by somebody who actually wants to learn and is ready to learn. So, you got to remember your time is money too. So, yeah. Yep, I definitely agree. Those are both Woe and Kusasi. You both have good points, definitely. So I do think that's good. Give them one pass. But you kind of say you got to be honest and upfront with that verbiage like in your contract saying, okay, here's what we're going to cover as far as like no call, no show, or if you're late, what if you're late, right? So, you know, I'm the teacher or the tutor. I'm only going to wait about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, depending on how long your lesson is. If your lesson's half an hour, you're not going to wait half the lesson. But if your lesson's like 45 minutes, maybe you'll wait up to 10 minutes, that kind of thing. Um, and then you'll work with them, but you won't go over, so that's the thing. So if you're 10 minutes late, I'm going to still take you all the way up to the 45-minute mark. So you're not going to get an extra 10 minutes because you were 10 minutes late. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Well, yeah, they can always reschedule prior. So, just in general, a lot of these companies, whatever it is, doesn't even have to be tutors. Like they usually say like 24 hours is typically like a good indicator of, okay, give me 24-hour notice that you're going to be, and obviously people get sick and, different things come up, but um, I would say you definitely give them pass once. And if it starts becoming an issue or it starts being like repetitive, then of course you have to kind of reassess and, kind of figure out, all right, what is there a larger problem going on? Um, because not only, and then you kind of go back to what we were talking about before, like, do you ask for the money up front, which I think you should, versus going like half and half, that kind of thing. So Sweetums asked, do you know if there is any apps for using gamification online tutoring? Set yourself apart from other tutors so you can incorporate, take elements from enhanced learning. Game elements. Okay. You know what? I'm not honestly, Sweetums, I'm not sure. I'm sure there is. Yeah, definitely. I agree. That would be cool. To be honest, I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but and I'm kind of searching here. Um, Actually, here's one. So Grendel Games, it looks like Grendel, Grendel Games says interactive games for virtual tutoring success. And this actually might be less about games, but more about like ideas, kind of different strategies that you can use versus like an actual game. Super Mario Brothers. That's right, Kusasi. Super Matteo Brothers. Is that what that says? I read that and I was like just naturally, I read Super Mario and I'm like, wait, that's not what that says. That says something else. Then I got closer and I was like, oh, there's the word math in there. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, I agree. Well, the way that you execute that idea and really integrate um, games and make it super interactive, I think would be incredibly, incredibly valuable and beneficial, but also really kind of give you a leg up, for the other online tutors. So anybody out there that's watching this that you want to consider being an online tutor, these are great tips and tricks and things to think about. So definitely consider some of these options if you're watching this on the replay and you're trying to think of how to stand out. These are some really good tips. So I don't think, yeah, I don't know. I don't think anything really exists for them. Sorry, I was just following like the comments here. Yeah, that's definitely something that I think would stand out for sure. So Bookie, Bookie asked, what if they turn the tables on you and they use ChatGPT and AI for their assignments? You would never know, would you? I mean, I feel like, you know, you hear in like public schools at least, you hear that they have the detectors for like AI and that kind of thing. I got to be honest, I've never really like dug in super deep into kind of like seeing how in depth or how accurate these detectors really are as far as detecting AI content. And I suppose, you know, somebody could use that if they really wanted to do that. You know, that's it. New side hustle. Whoa, you're onto something. There you go. Yeah, he did, right? I think he did, Sweetums. Yeah, you did say that, right? Look at that. You guys putting the minds together to do a side hustle. That's so cool. Like a new side hustle is just emerging from this live stream, like while we're talking about it. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. Like, does it actually like make an actual like legit app? I mean, does it look good or is it like, you know, pretty basic, I wonder? That's pretty crazy. I'm sure that, you know, something like that exists. Yeah, what the heck was it? You guys remember? Anybody on the live remember? It's been a while. It's been a while since he talked about it. I can't remember that. That's awesome. I trademarked Super Mathio Brothers. That's it. Instead of like jumping and getting coins, you know, it's like little equations or that kind of thing, like a plus sign, a division sign. It's like, look, there's a multiplication thing table. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. You know, you know, on Nintendo coming after you, being like, hey, about that little game you created. Yeah, seriously, right? Like they're coming for everybody. There's a whoa, when you said that, there is something that popped into my head. I can't say the exact full words because of, you know, being on YouTube, but like, you know, without saying it, I mean, there's this like viral kind of like news thing where like they're coming for everybody. I don't know if I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but um yeah. So charge before he even got started. That's right. Char- charged is that yeah, you know what I'm saying, well, right? I don't, you know, yeah, there's some different parts of that. Is a Duolingo owl coming for you? It's almost kind of like, you know, when I picture that, I think of like the Harry Potter, you know, the Harry Potter owl. What was his name? Albert? Or is it Ruffles? What was the name of the Harry Potter owl? That's, tell me you're not a huge Harry Potter fan without telling me you're not a huge Harry Potter fan. No, I like Hedwig. I knew it was something like that. Thank you, Sweetums. Not Albert, not Ruffles. Fake fan. Fake fan. I don't know. I apologize to all the Harry Potter fans out there. I really do love the movies. I'm not a reader, so I haven't read the books, but I do love the movies. I don't know. No, you're good. Well, I didn't even honestly, man, I didn't even realize you had typos. You know, it's all good. How are you guys doing out there? Are we still engaged? I'm like this online tutoring thing. It's crazy how it can go in so many different directions. You know, like I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole just with online tutoring, which is pretty cool. I mean, um, you know, another thing that I was gonna mention was, we talked about that's a good question, Kusasi. Does online tutoring demand dip in summer? I would say no, only because people are constantly trying to learn things, and especially if you have younger students who their parents want them to continue over summer, as far as like to kind of keep their skills sharp. Um, Maybe for like some of the kind of population type thing, but I think there are definitely still a demand for learning and tutoring in the summertime for sure. Because, some parents are like, all you're gonna do is you're gonna watch the TV, you're gonna go on your tablet, and you're gonna rot your brain. TV, TV rots your brains. I definitely think it's a reliable income stream for sure, Kusasi. Yeah, I think once you kind of, but it's kind of like with the other business models, we kind of talked about in this challenge. You really kind of you have to have your foundation set and your business all set up, and you have to have the right tools, you have to have the right equipment, and you have to have your payment processor, PayPal, Stripe, whatever it is, everything's set. But then I think once you kind of get experience with doing it yourself, then I think you can just take off. So yeah, how much are we talking out there? Dang, they only have 2 weeks off in the full year, in the whole year of school. I mean, oh, summer vacation. 2 weeks summer vacation. I there I mean, like honestly, there's something to be said, I think, about constantly being on top of your education and learning and um I definitely think it's super important to see how other countries and other cultures kind of approach learning and education. It's definitely something to where, traditionally in this well, I can only speak for the states, but in the states, you have about 2 months off for summer, that kind of thing. Unless you're specifically going to summer school, like if you're in high school, which isn't even like that long. It's only like a couple hours or whatever. But I do think it's good to keep the brain moving and sharp and keep everything kind of like in line. As far as like, keeping everything on top, keeping yourself on top of, learning and being in that mindset because I think once people lose that mindset of learning, then it goes away and it takes a while for it to come back once you come back in the fall. And I know that obviously kids would probably not agree with that statement or that assessment, but I really do think that is positive. I mean, at the very least, have a little bit of schooling like a couple days a week just to kind of keep everything fresh. Yeah, no, that's true. I definitely agree. I mean, it matters what you're learning, and that way you can kind of keep focused and I think you're more motivated and dedicated to learning if you really like the topic or you like the subject. Like if it's interesting. Really, really, Sweetums, that's pretty nuts. So the school calendars were made according to the country's farming calendar. Interesting. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So kids can be help come home to help with the crops. Right on. If it's summer school, it should be more fun. So yeah, that's true. No, that's true. And to be honest, where we are here, it's like certain, um, you know, summer school, like I guess programs or paths that you take. Some of them cost money, even though it's a public school. So I don't know how it is where you guys are. If it costs money for summer school, certain classes, and this isn't even like college. This is only like high school. That's another part, like the beauty part of like having a tutor. Yeah, whereas in Asia they have rice fields and they produce year round. So they didn't need 2 months off, summers off, according to Malcolm. Okay. No, that's cool. That's good information. I mean, it's good to know like kind of how, different countries approach, learning and education. But so how do you guys think as far as when you're doing like if you're a tutor, if you have like a tutor session, um, do you think there's like a really strong like there would be a really strong barrier for like in-person learning tutoring versus like online, is even if it was like a video call or video chat or whatever? Do you think there's like a line in the sand, like, you know I mean, obviously some people can learn that way, but other people need that in-person, kind of interaction? Yeah, PokeWookie's asked, what about the time zone differences with international students? So I think you'd really have to commit to accepting students that were in like an international country. And then obviously you could probably command more. You could probably command more money, especially if there's like a obviously a time delay with the time zone. So I think you just have to line it up to where it'd be work for you and the student themselves. But I think that would be extremely tricky as far as if you have like, let's just say, a student in Antarctica and then you have a teacher in Canada. So I mean, totally different sides of the spectrum of the world. So I would think you'd probably be a little more cautious with actually like considering that sort of you know like teacher client, teacher student kind of you know I don't know what I'm trying to say. Basically, like, you may think twice about actually accepting those. No, you know what? Well, I haven't been in a year-round school system. I know that they exist in the United States, but I actually haven't done it. Yeah, I heard that it's like, so how does that work? Does that mean that you basically do like, you have maybe 2 months on and then a week and a half off and then 3 months on and 2 or 3 weeks off? I mean, is there like a rolling schedule with that, or? Yeah, Boki, I could totally see that point. Definitely. Yeah, it'd be difficult online versus in person because kids would feel more comfortable asking dumb questions as a group. Wow, six. Okay, so actually, you know what? To be honest, 6 weeks, that's about what they have now. I think even maybe a little bit longer here. You get 6 weeks off for summer, but you get a week off in October. Okay. I mean, I gotta be honest, that's like, there's some places that have, fall break, that kind of thing in the States. And then, oh, 3 weeks for winter. Okay, I got it. So they definitely scatter like the time off, is what it sounds like. Okay, they spread it out. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you know what's weird? Here we have 2 weeks for winter break, and then we have one for fall, and then one for spring. And then they kind of sprinkle in some different holidays and stuff here for public school. So what do you guys think about an individual session for like a tutoring session, individual one-on-one versus like a group session, whether it be in person or like digitally, like over video or whatever. How do you think that that would is that something you think that people would take advantage of, as far as like maybe having a Zoom call and then having like two or three people sitting in front of the camera versus like one-on-one? Yep. Yeah, you're right, Sweetums. We do have a ton of vacations now. Yep. Is that 50 50 million? Is that is that 5,000,000,000 people for 1 hour? I'm like, oh man, is that here we are talking about math again. Oh man, I can't get away. Can't even get away on a live stream. Just kidding. No, that's funny. Get the zeros. That's no, but I think like, kind of kidding aside, I think that if there's multiple people that want to learn in that setting, you absolutely could charge more for like a group rate, a group setting, like a group rate for sure. All right, well, no worries. So what do you guys think about as far as not just doing like um so Sweden will sign up for a PUD course and she doesn't do one-on-one anything, it's all Zoom. Yeah, that's interesting that it's all groups. For I think that's kind of the way to go. And that way you're kind of in the what's that sense? You're killing two birds with one stone. So yeah, that's definitely something I think that you could use to your advantage as like the tutor, the instructor, that kind of thing. Oh, Bookie, what is it? What's the vegan phrase of that of the vegan version of that phrase? Feeding two birds with one stone. It makes you wonder, like, where the heck did that saying come with? I mean, who is going out there killing two birds with one stone? Like literally, like taking a rock and like throwing it at birds. Bookie's got this live under control right here. Bookie, you're our. Can I book you for the entertainment, Bookie, for the lives? You're just keeping everybody, entertaining. You rattle them off. I'm gonna need you more on this live, Bookie, so you can get the so you can draw people in here so they'll come into these lives and actually want to stay. Yeah, that is Kusasi, you're right. That it is pretty it's pretty brutal. Like, yeah, I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I'm not even sure like, what were we even talking about? I don't know. I was just picturing that visual. I'm like, "Oh man, That's brutal. What what were we saying? I can't even remember. It doesn't really matter. I don't remember. That would be awesome. Thank you, Sweetums. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you guys are liking this live stream, definitely hit the like button. That'd greatly help out the channel, and it helps get the live out to more people. Helps YouTube kind of spread it out. So I definitely appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to propose this idea. So you're looking at, we talk about Zoom kind of calls, Zoom calls for like a tutor and a student. So how do you think that varies, good, bad, or other, to like a course creation for like on platforms on like, Udemy or Teachable or Skillshare? So like basically an on-demand course that's, updated or whatever versus a live tutor. I mean, is there no comparison there as far as like, what the pros and the cons? I'm just curious. What do you guys think about that? So, on demand training, tutoring, video kind of series, or like a live tutor? I think it really probably depends on the person, right? Bye, Laura. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Have a great night. Yeah, totally, Sweetums. I've actually never tried having an online tutor either. I've done like some Zoom calls and meetings and that kind of thing. Not meetings, but like, you know, the Zoom paying for like Zoom trainings or teachings. But yeah, I actually haven't done any kind of like direct. Hey, well, welcome back. Yeah. So, well, I was just kind of asking, like, what do you think about like, an online tutor, like face to face or like, kind of video versus like an actual, on demand, video on demand, as far as, like a Skillshare, Teachable, that kind of platform. I mean, as far as like your preference, like, could you do both live tutor and on demand, or what do you kind of feel like you would get the most out of as far as being able to like interact and what you would be able to take from, take the most from basically. Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that, Sweetums. I mean, definitely be more comfortable. Definitely have to be comfortable with the person. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say for me, I mean, I, live, if there's no way to do in person, then live, I think is also definitely an option. As far as like, so I would say for me personally, it's like in person tutoring, and then it would be live, like over Zoom or whatever, video call, and then it would probably be video on demand. But then I think it depends on what the topic is, right? What's the subject? Like, what are you learning? Some things I think maybe you don't necessarily need a full understanding, like with a person, with a human person. Same page, Bookie. I'm not surprised. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think something definitely could be a course for sure. I mean, when you're learning something, I think not even like if it's just from scratch, like if you don't have any experience learning it, I don't necessarily think that, you know, like I really do think it depends on what the topic is. So, yeah, I think for the most part, I could probably learn through like a course or like a video on demand series, as long as it's more of like over the shoulder, kind of like step by step process. I think I can learn a little better that way. But then the flip side of that is you don't have anybody to ask questions to, you know. So how do you interact with somebody if you have a question? You're like, oh crap, I gotta hit pause, but I don't have anybody to talk to like bounce something off, you know. But I think it definitely depends on. Yeah, that's true. I agree, well. So like, yeah, if you're confused, it would be nice if there's like, yeah, like an AI bot or something helping you. Um, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, Sweetums. I've seen people sell courses for decluttering and cleaning their home. That's pretty cool. I mean, that's super unique, and I think that's something that um, is oftentimes it could be overlooked or like also underrated at the same time because really, obviously, if you can follow the basic, I guess, kind of like structure like of a course, as long as the material is easy to digest, you know, depending on what the topic is, So, oh, that is cool. So, Sweetum said that in the courses you've taken, they have Kajabi communities for questions and answers. That's actually pretty cool. I mean, that's good that that's kind of like a benefit or like that's a part of, paying for the course. You also get put into this community so you can actually feel like you can ask questions and not you're not just kind of talking to like a computer screen. So, I definitely think that that is something that would be beneficial for sure. So, I think there's really like it's kind of more like there's a time and a place for everything, in terms of what the topic is, what you're learning about, and you know maybe like what level of expertise you already have on the topic. So are you going in like totally new, or do you have some experience? I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. For anybody who's new, you're a part of a 30-day challenge right here. We're doing a live stream every single day for 30 days, and we're talking about how to make money online. So every day is going to be a different topic. So today's topic is online tutoring, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about website flipping. So feel free to stick around. We'd love to have you come with us. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, and you can join in on the challenge with us. So, oh, that's cool. Yeah, Sweetum. So you do YouTube and books first, and if you're confused, you kind of then you're willing to pay if you're invested in the topic. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you, Bookie. Yeah, if we can get this up to 20 likes, that would be awesome. So we got about 11 minutes or so, give or take, left on the live. So yeah, that'd be super cool if we can get up to 20. So is there any questions that you guys can think of off the top of your head, like that or questions or maybe like topic that we haven't covered as far as like online tutoring, something that you're like, you know what, we haven't covered this part of the topic, or I've been really wondering about this. Nice. We got one more. So it says 15 on my side. Yeah, definitely. Again, like, how would you use AI? Oh, sorry. Whoa. I was like, so how would you use AI? You mean, in order to do like, tutoring, you mean? Hey, Natu, how you doing? Hey, so we're talking about, online tutoring today in this challenge. There are some videos on this channel about investing, but I haven't really talked about Forex at all. but I appreciate you popping in. Definitely please consider subscribing and hanging out with us. We'd love to have you as part of this community. Yeah, like AI for tutoring. So what you could do is I don't necessarily think you could probably use it to kind of create like lesson plans, that kind of thing maybe. Like lesson plans or like maybe come up with like quiz questions, like a question and answer kind of session. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, even like images or if they might have, because that one website we talked about earlier that I posted in the chat, now I can't remember the name of it, but you could create AI quizzes. And that's how you could kind of utilize AI to like, help create a more engaging experience when you're doing like a tutoring session. So that could be something. I think that could definitely help. I think there's a ton of different ways that you could use it to kind of make a more interactive experience. Um, and obviously, I think the quicker and the more like because our just in general attention spans are so short these days. So you're really gonna want to have something that's really like eye catching and kind of in your face. Yeah, that's true too. So you could use it to create a compelling profile, definitely. Yeah, I think that's a good point because that way you can kind of get your name out there. So we talked about word of mouth, I think is probably the number one source of marketing yourself for being a tutor. That was kind of what I would go for is word of mouth. So yeah, that's true too. What if you build websites for tutors? That's a good point. So that's also a way to kind of be, in the tutoring space, but also, you're kind of outside it at the same time because you're building websites, but you can do that for multiple niches. So that could be also be a topic that, or that could be you carving your little space out for sure. Because you don't really need that much, you kind of need like a little bio, what's your qualifications, what can you do, that kind of thing. And then maybe set up like some sort of a payment processor where um, you could take payment for your sessions, um, build your client list. Then you can also do like for like a calendar. You could actually, I mean, you could use that calendar tool that has an integration for Zoom, so you can do that too. So yeah, that's it. Whoa, you should be writing this stuff down, man. Definitely, definitely. This is stuff that I think you would absolutely you'd have success doing for sure. We appreciate that. Looking out for everybody. Definitely. I think that's important to me because that's looking out for each other, being positive, trying to help, share experiences. I mean, that's all I think tied to karma. So anytime we can put out the positivity and try to encourage one another, I think is a wonderful thing. So, and not to mention, us trying to build this, this community together, which is awesome. So I can't believe that tomorrow we're gonna actually be halfway into this 30-day challenge. So tomorrow is day 15, which is absolutely bonkers. I can't believe it. I think the last like 3 or 4 lives, I've started out by saying, wow, it's day 11. I can't believe it. It's day 12. I can't believe it. Oh, thank you. Whoa, I really appreciate that very much. Yeah, I just, it's one of those things where I really do genuinely want to kind of help expand the reach to like have more people kind of come into this community and um, all I want to do is help and like kind of share information and share my experiences. So um, definitely, if you guys out there, anybody out there, if you know anybody that might benefit from what we're doing here, I'd love for you to share the channel definitely with anybody and invite them to subscribe and hang out and um, especially word of mouth. So yeah, whoa, you definitely make the chat more lively for sure. I mean, interacting with everybody, and I genuinely, I do appreciate it very, very much, because otherwise it would be me just sitting here talking to like a blank screen, and you know, so it really helps to have you know, you guys to interact with. So you know what, I would say. Boogie, I would say, do you have to keep up with any trends as far as an online tutor? I would say maybe not necessarily like trends in itself, but maybe more so like different teaching styles or different techniques, that kind of thing, or even just making sure that you're up to date on your education as far as what you're actually teaching. You know, you want to make sure that you're teaching the most latest and greatest kind of information. So, hey, Enhanced Life, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the 30-day challenge. How to make money online. That's a good question, Kusasi. What do you guys think? You may actually have to learn, you know, some new lingo or some new terminology, depending on who you're actually going to be helping or who you're going to be catering to. So, I mean, this channel and this like honestly like the demographic is so wide because you know everybody wants to learn how to make money online and make some more money, create a side hustle, you know, that kind of thing. So really is from like 18 to, you know, infinity basically. So it's one of those things where I think if you have the right mindset, if you have the right focus and determination, and you don't give up, I mean, you can make anything succeed, you know. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sweetums. Could maybe follow some teacher accounts. Yeah, that's a good idea. Just to kind of reach out and see if we can kind of build more of that community. I like that. That's definitely a great idea. And I think that allows us to expand the reach too. So is there anything today that we kind of talked about that kind of stood out to you guys? Any like aha moments as far as like, you know, the online tutoring space or like maybe anything that we talked about that we you really think that could be, you know, you could actually put into action. That's smart. That's really smart, Sweetums. Following teacher accounts for teaching niches in the print on demand. That's super super smart. That's funny. So what if you run ads for tutoring like a marketing agency? Yeah, you could totally do that. Whoa, like, I mean, if you have that, you know, when we talk about making sure um, your foundation is all set up, your website, whatever you're going to do, however you're going to actually conduct your online tutoring business, I think that's a great idea. You know, running ads for your tutoring business to try to get the word out there. Yeah, that's a great idea for sure. Uh oh, Kusasi's here with the Super Mathio brothers. That's gonna blow up. Seriously, the next what is that? 15 lives, right? So 15 tomorrow. So the next 15 lives, there's gonna be a reference to Super Mathio Brothers. Just keep an eye out for it. Yep, you're right. And Woe's gonna build the app. That's right. Don't forget about that. Well, we'll see if Nicholas ever comes back to one of these lives. Maybe we can ask him. So we'll see. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Did he? I don't know if he popped in recently, but we'll see if he pops in. So that's the ultimate collab. Yep, absolutely. That is totally the ultimate collab. So you get Woe in here, you get Damien in here to build, you know, to get that. What does he call it? He says you got the likes or the milk. You got to get the milk going, the milk likes or something like that. I think I'm butchering how he says it, but he basically says something like that. So I just want to bring up real quick. We really appreciate any support for our channel. Our channel's not monetized, so if you feel inclined to leave a donation and support our channel, we would greatly appreciate it. At the very top of this live chat, we have a pinned comment. You can support us through Buy Me a Coffee, through Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, you know, all those platforms. So um, definitely, if you feel inclined to do so, we'd greatly appreciate it. And we just really appreciate your support. So. All right, whoa, you're coming. All right, whoa. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. It was great talking to you. Yeah, Sweetums, did he say you got to get that milk? Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. Something like that. I think that's what he said. All right, everybody. I think that's actually a pretty good time to wrap up. So we're going on about almost 3. When did we start this? Sweetums, do you know when we started this? So for I can't remember when we started. So what would be 3 hours in minutes? Let me see. So 3 hours in minutes is 180 minutes. So that's still another 15 minutes. Dang, 180 minutes. So that's, I don't know if my voice can go for another 15 minutes. What do you think? Should we try to push it, Sweetums? We can get some more content or some more things to talk about. I forgot. I forgot. But I'm trying to remember, you have that lemon juice you can put in there. So I'm trying something new though. This is a strawberry, I don't know what it is. Strawberry, some kind of tea that I got. Um, so yeah, I don't know. This is actually helping. I mean, it's cold, but it's actually helping. I mean, there's definitely some stuff in here that's, I think, soothing my throat a little bit. I can entertain you with some vegan substitutes for proper. Okay. All right, let's do that. All right. So we're gonna count down. All right. So that is the new goal right now, is to we'll go for it a little bit. We'll go for a little longer. So we'll hit the 3 hour mark and then we'll call it. Is anybody else still out there? We got people dropping off like flies here. Well, we were able to get 15 likes, so that's good. If you guys are still here, either on the live or through the replay, I really appreciate it, because this thing has gone for quite a while. But we're gonna push through. We're gonna try to go for a little bit longer. We want to try to hit that 3 hour mark. All right. Instead of bring home the bacon, it's bring home the bagel. Oh, hey, that got an extra like. That's cool. Now we're up to 16. That's awesome. Bookie, you got to keep going. We got a like because of that, I think. Bringing home the bagel. I'm gonna seriously watch this like live count like go down. So right now it says it's at 9. It's gonna just drop. All right, we got it up to 12. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining. We're here on this 30-day challenge, how to make money online. Today we're talking about online tutoring. Oh, I already lost 2. Okay. Never mind. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, so what do, Bookie? You put all your berries in one bowl. Wow, okay, I never thought about that one. I don't think I've heard of that one before. That's cool. Okay. Can do that. All right. Okay, what else you got? Is this torture, Kusasi? Hey, we got up to 14. Thank you guys for joining. Really appreciate it. We're talking about online marketing. This is a 30-day challenge, how to make money online. Go for it, Bookie. You got it. We got 10 minutes, Bookie. Can we get 10 minutes out of this? What do you think? Am I single-handedly raising the likes? Well, I think it stopped at 16. How many do you see? I see 16. It's all you, Bookie. You got this. Come on. You can do it. Let's see what else you got in that bag of tricks. What can you do? Let's see. We're at 16 likes. Can we get it up to 20? Let's see if we can get some people that come in that can like. Nope, we just lost 3. Up, gain 1. Okay. There we go. All right. What do we got going on, Bookie? How we doing? Bookie, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're going. We got it. We're going. Okay, you don't hold your horses. You just hold the phone. Really? Hold your horses. Hold the phone. Just hold your phone. Seriously, the last like what, 15 minutes of this live stream, it's just gonna be like, people are gonna like drop right off. They're like, I'm out of here. I don't know why I came for this thing. I thought I was talking about online tutoring, and you guys are talking about catchphrases here. You don't take the bull by the horns. You take the flower by the thorns. Oh, that's kind of a good one. So that's kind of like more like a rose, right? A rose thing. There we go. Folks, we're live. We're live out here, so you never know what you're going to get. Am I single-handedly dropping the viewers? Kusasi, Sweetums, what do you think? I don't know. Is that, I don't know. Hey, you got that one like, but the viewers, I think, are dropping. They're like, I don't know. We saw the title, and we don't know what we're here for. You're not talking about tutoring. You did that the last 2 hours and 45 minutes. We're still here. Absolutely. Thank you guys for still being here. I really appreciate it. Is there any way in the next 8, what is that? Almost 7 minutes, we can get 4 more likes? Is that possible? I don't know. We're going to have to see this flood of people come in, I think. So let's see how many people we can get in. It's ironic that it's vegan phrases, but we are the humans are being tortured. Yep, exactly. That's so true. That's right. Is there anybody else in this live chat? Anybody else? Anybody pop in to say hello? We're just dropping jokes at this point. We're going on 3 hours, so we're all a little loopy here. So anybody want to throw a joke, say hi, say something in the live chat? You don't flog a dead horse. You feed a fed horse. Okay. All right, that sounds good. All right. So we're still working on it. We're still working on those extra 4 likes. We'll see if we can get those. We may have to get those on replay if people will like it or not. We're not really sure. We're not sure what we can do here. So we're up to 13 people in here. Let's see if we can get any more likes. They're dropping like flies. Up, down to 12. All I want to do is hit that 3-hour mark. That's it. We got how many minutes left? We have 6.5 minutes or 5.5 minutes. So let's see. Hello, thank you everybody for joining. How you guys doing out there? Oh, lost 3. Okay. It's not be the guinea pig. It's be the test tube. Okay. All right. I'm not even sure what that means, but I think I think the last like 15 minutes or 10 minutes of this live stream, people are either just gonna cut off or they're just gonna like fast forward and see, hey, is there anything useful in this last little bit? No, there's nothing useful here. All we're trying to do is get it to 3 hours. That's all we're trying to do. So we got about a little less than 5 minutes. So no animals were harmed in any of these phrases. All right, Bookie, thank you for letting us know. We appreciate it. Has anybody out there heard of the term bio break? Does anybody need a need a does anybody need a bio break after drinking this, this cup of tea? Who knows what's in this thing? I don't know. That's right. These are jokes to start your tutoring sessions. You got to break the ice. You got to break the ice somehow. That's right. You got to stick around for the end of this live stream. Well, tea. Yeah, I don't know what it is actually. It's gone now, but it was something. I don't know. It was like some strawberry something, like strawberry tea with something, some or another. So it's not more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, I can't wait for this one. It's more than one way to peel a potato. That seriously, these are vegan. That's right on. Anybody else out there? You got any jokes? We're trying to kill some time here. We got about almost 3 minutes left. I kind of feel like this is like New Year's Eve and we're counting down to like 2025, but it's like June. It's like June of 24. We're kind of like counting down the time. These are actually getting worse. Where is Bookie getting these from? Is this just from like the mind or like are these getting made up? Is there anybody else out there that's watching this? Anybody anybody out there? Can you like post something in the live chat? Anybody here? They're dropping again. They're dropping. Oh man. These are actually getting worse. Bio break time. Anybody out there know what a bio break means? There you go. Lost another one. I think our chances of getting 20 likes are pretty much shot at this point because we're going on about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Anybody out there, you like hitting the like button for us? We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get up to 20 likes. Anybody even passing by? Nope. Okay. Can you imagine just like scrolling through your YouTube Shorts feed and like see this and be like, what is this? The topic has nothing to do with what you guys are talking about. I don't see anything about online tutoring, how to make money online. You're just talking about all kinds of phrases and you're trying to kill time. Anybody drop a thumbs up for us? We're trying to get 4 more likes before this video is over. Can we do and get any more likes from this? Probably not. All right, we're down to about 2.5 minutes, give or take. So, oh, really? They actually make you, when you swipe out of a live, they actually make you. Hey, enhanced life. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I definitely need that for sure. Yeah, I'm slowing down over here for sure. The algorithm serves me the same accidental swipes. Any more oh wait, just 16, yeah. So all right, we got about 40 seconds left. I think we made it. We made it. We're getting close. Can we get 4 likes in about 30 seconds? Is that possible? Anybody out there, can you give us a like, please? We're trying to get up to 20 likes on this video. Nothing? Okay. All right. I guess that's it. There you go. I wish I could like the video myself, but I know we can't do that. 16. All right, 15 people here. We can get a like. Anybody here want to hit a like? Come on. Let's do the like. All right, we just hit 3 hours and we didn't get the like. We didn't get the like. So, that's all right. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Yours is at 17? Nice. So, I really appreciate everybody joining. I think my throat is ready to give out, and I gotta do the bio break thing, all that good stuff. So we tried. That's it. We tried. We did. I think it went well. So thank you everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. And if you were here for the last 20 minutes of this live stream, I'm sorry, but it was entertaining to try to keep us. We got to have something to keep us going. So thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow's topic is going to be website flipping. So be there for day 15 of the 30-day How to Make Money Online Challenge, and we will see you there. All right, everybody, be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.